Officer Tiny Johnson lets us know that we almost committed an infraction. So he needs No Name's license. You can't have your license checked for almost committing an infraction. Just like I can't get arrested for almost assaulting somebody. Either I assaulted somebody or I didn't. Okay? So at this point I say, well, I'm going to get out of the car. He says, no. I said, am I being detained? He says, yes. I said, well, what crime do you suspect me of committing? No crime. Okay, so you're detaining me because someone almost committed an infraction. I don't think so. So we go to the C6 police department where they're out of, okay? We go there and you can watch last night's video. I put the timestamp in it. They hide in the back. They will not come see us. They are petrified of my camera. Straight cowards. Literally. And we show you guys through the windows how they're hiding in the back. You can hear them say, well, let them stay there all night. They had a classified document that we declassified. They left a classified document out there with important information, involving the FBI, that they weren't going to touch because they didn't want to address our cameras. So what did? We went to the state police. Then we went back to Mass Ave and we started, all right, well, we're going to get contact with a police officer. We need to speak to him. We're waiting for that backup to get here. He's about a minute away. I might just go in now. I don't want to give these guys too much of a heads up that I'm here. So we wanted to give people a second to file in so we have as many people as possible because we expect them to turn up and be shitbags. Even the state police said, no, you can't ID someone for almost committing an infraction. If the infraction was committed. And guess what happens after, guys? He starts off by saying, well, I'm writing you a ticket because you ticked me off. And the other officer heard it and admitted it.
No, he's writing me a ticket because you pissed him off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So now we're getting a ticket for ticking you off. That's a tick-off ticket, a tick-off. That's great. Anyways, when he realizes who we are, everyone starts calling. The sergeant gets to the scene. He comes back nice as pie and lets us know that it's not a ticket. It's just a warning for almost committing an infraction. That's right. It's contempt of cop. So we're going to go take care of this.
It was awfully funny because we just left the scene with the Boston University police, and I was coming down the street on Albany Street, making a right on Mass Ave. Then we stop at the intersection there where all the homeless people guys are, like the toll booths. And then I go through, he's coming off that street over here, and then he pulls up behind me and he follows me. I could have gone left and went up the street, back around and wrap around again, but I kept going straight towards South Bay Plaza parking lot, and a car was in the way, so I stayed in my lane. And then when the car passed, I went into the parking lot and he blue lights me.
We're gonna head it. I mean, because we're blowing our cover sitting here like this. We have backup that'll be here shortly. They come in, they come in. If they don't make it, they don't make it. You got the citation? Okay. That's probably important. We're waiting for someone, but I just can't sit out there all day. These guys already know we're here now.
Like the minute that I went in my job, like my coworkers came out. Yeah, I think the plate number. Yeah. The minute because I called 911 right away and they told me to.
I'll put it out over the earring. For now, just
I don't know what
he left, all right?
Yeah, the minute he see my coworkers come out, he's like, leave him alone. And he just got in his car and he left. And I'm like, what is your problem? Like, he just started attacking me. I just got because he took pictures of my car. Because I was in the car, like, literally, I don't know what he had.
But you definitely didn't hit his car, right?
No, I was nowhere near him, so he hit me in my car. Because he couldn't hit me because I got
There's a victim in here reporting a crime.
Just
hold on, guys.
Okay. All right. So for now, why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you go ahead? I'll give you a pen. Write down your vehicle information just in case you did damage your car. And then, so write down your information, his description, because obviously we don't know. I mean, if you guys played it,
I just know the type of car, but I wasn't able to think because I guess he figured out that I was about to take a picture of his car. But the whole time I'm in my car because I was petting like dude, he was hitting my car. He's like going like that, and I'm like, what's your problem?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're okay. Even though.
I'm like, I don't even know. I didn't know. I'm like, dude, we're okay. Like, I saw you coming fast, so I literally stopped and I just let you go. Like, why would I want to be behind, like, in front of you?
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and fill that out with all the information that I need, and I'll put it out in the air to make sure that the right driver or something. This is a gray Volkswagen.
Yeah, it's a gray Volkswagen. That's the only thing I was able to see. But I couldn't even take a picture because, again, I don't even know how I was able to take a picture of him.
Put it on the intercom. Okay.
I'm going to speak to the supervisor, please.
Yep.
Yes, guys.
Sergeant, can I have your name, please?
My name is Sergeant Connolly, Connolly.
Good old Irish boy, then. From
American.
There you go. So I have an issue.
Yes.
We came here last night. We were ignored. I don't know
Okay.
if you were made aware of this issue.
I was not, sir.
Okay, so we were traveling on Mass Ave towards South Bay Plaza.
Okay.
Your officer, Officer Johnson, was behind us. We went into the South Bay Plaza at the Stop and Shop to try and get some toilet paper. I was looking at the GPS, so I gave directions kind of last minute. So he activates his directional, and then he attempts to turn. There's a car coming at us pretty fast. So he stops to make sure we let the car go. We pull in. The officer puts his lights on behind us. Now he comes up and he starts asking questions about the plates, all this stuff. I say, listen, man, can you just let us know what the infraction is? Because we don't really have to answer any other questions. He says, well, there wasn't an infraction. It was almost an infraction. And I said, all right, then are we all set to be on our way? He said, no, I need your license and registration. I said, well, if it's almost an infraction, you can't violate our Fourth Amendment rights because
so
it was.
So we can cut through this. What did he give you?
Well, here's the thing. This is just a warning. This was not what was
Okay.
important.
Okay.
What was important to me is he's stating that an infraction was almost committed, yet he obtains his driver's license. The second part that's really disturbing to me is that I said, listen, I got to go to the bathroom. Can I go inside? And he says, no. I said, am I being detained? And he said, yes. Okay, so I'm being detained. There's no articulable suspicion a crime's been committed. So I'm being detained because he almost committed an infraction.
Okay.
He violated our Fourth Amendment rights and he detained us
Okay,
because.
is that what you're telling me?
No, this is what the officer
That's what
said.
you're telling me now.
No, it's on.
I have to speak to the officer.
Right. Well, if you'd like to watch the live
Correct.
stream, he said the only reason I'm giving you a ticket and I'm pursuing this is because you ticked me off.
You ticked you off. Okay.
That's what he said.
Okay.
He said so. At this point, he's only getting ID and he's only giving us a ticket and he's only pursuing this because we ticked him
Can I
off.
see this?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's like a Delaware v. Prowse violation right there.
Can I make a copy of it?
Absolutely.
Give me a few minutes.
Yep.
So it's important that we let him make a copy of that. It doesn't matter about your personal information because they already accessed that. But what he's trying to say is, so let's just cut to the chase. Well, the chase is that you violated Fourth Amendment rights by obtaining ID. Okay, and then you detained us. So now we're filling out complaints, and the next part of the complaint is that he hasn't even got to yet is how the entire police department hid back there and refused service to a citizen. That's the next part of this complaint. So I'd like to see if they think that they're going to get away with this shit, because it's not going to happen. We came here, we went to state police. They are not going to be getting away with this shit. Guys, everyone hit that like button, please. If you think that it's wrong for the police to illegally obtain personal papers and effects from a citizen traveling freely and then detain that citizen for a crime that could have taken place but didn't, then hit that like button. Hit that like button. The police are here to protect and serve the public, not to protect and serve themselves. And they still have that confidential, that classified document out. We declassified that last night. We are at the C6 Police Department. Do not call the C6 PD. Do not call the C6 Police Department.
Here's your ticket back.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Okay, he gave you a warning, obviously, for failure to yield, so there was a violation. So he can do all those things that you're telling you to do. You said you picked up the phone or your GPS. Is that what he was referring to, that you almost had an infraction?
No, so
So he gave you a ticket.
right.
So you did have a violation. So everything that you told me, he could do. He could ask you for your license and registration.
well, so that's directly contradictory to what he says in the video. He says that,
Okay.
I said, right on film, right in his face, did we actually commit an infraction? He said, no, you almost did. He was going to give us a ticket. I think people started calling because he was live, and at that point, I think he realized he screwed up. The second part of this is, besides of his license being illegally obtained, there was no reason to detain me. He didn't suspect me of a crime. But when we came back to this police department,
Correct.
they hid in the back, and I have all the audio of
In
them.
the back.
You had 3 officers. Officer Johnson did come in.
Okay.
You had 3 officers back there. We actually went up to the window. They waved at us. You got one on video giving us the finger, and then I put the phone up to the glass, and a female officer, I think, says something to him, and then he says, well, let them just sit out there all night. We're not going to talk to them. We were here for 45 minutes. Waiting, asking, and we were saying to them, they could see us. He was standing right behind the little curtain there and going into that side office. And I was saying, well, I need a complaint form. I need to speak to a police officer. It got so bad, we needed to go to state police. The state police actually took a report so we could have it on file. And that's why we're back here in the morning. So I need a complaint, 2 complaint forms for that officer. And
What
then
do you mean by a complaint form, sir?
an officer complaint form.
Okay, so you want to file a complaint against the police officer. You're not a criminal complaint, correct?
Well,
There's 2 different things. I
Right.
just want to make sure you.
So that's-
Tell him, asking me the correct.
right. So I would like to file a complaint against the police officer, Officer Johnson.
Okay.
Regarding
what?
Regarding his behavior and his unlawful movement.
Okay, but he gave you a warning for
What's
that.
his name?
Well,
What's his first name? I need to know
I
that.
don't know his first
He was the driver. I was not. They told me I was detained. It's not like, oh, just sit tight while we do a traffic stop. He said I was detained. So I was illegally detained.
No, you know, sir, if you're in a car and the police officer's pulling you over for obviously safety, they don't want anyone to leave the car, okay?
Right, but for me to be detained, you have to have articulable suspicion that I am about to, or I'm in the commission of a. I'm not the driver.
Yes, but you're still in the car. We don't want people coming in and
It's
out
not
of the
about
car.
officer safety. It's about civilian safety. It's about safety of the
both, sir.
public.
For me, it's about both, okay? We still want to make sure our officers are taken. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to Officer Ward. Let me figure out what we're going to do with
Okay.
this.
I don't know the names of the officers that were here last
Okay.
night. I'd like complaint forms for each of them.
Okay, I need their names. Do you know who they are? What
They
time
they
it
they were
happened?
too scared to come speak to
Well, I
us.
don't think they're too scared.
Petrified of the camera. Cowards.
What time did this happen?
So this was approximately, I would say that it was approximately 11 o'clock that we came to the police department. Yeah, I think it was 11 o'clock we actually showed up here.
When you have to talk to him about
11
it,
o'clock?
I believe it was 11 p.m. I'm going to have to go check the video.
you got to talk to him about with this. It's a warning.
Well, what-
Oh, I'm
It's the
just
same thing as when I'm talking to you.
right.
I'm getting your side of the story now.
Okay.
I want to get the officer's side of the story.
Yep.
And then we're going to figure out what's going on.
Okay, and
You're
I'm-
not saying
No,
he
can I-
cited you for a failing to yield violation, so he did have the power to ask. for
So
your
I guess we have to
license.
figure out-
Ask you for your license.
So we have to figure out which narrative of his, because this is my issue, and this is what I think is important.
I'm not going to. You're not going to tell me what narrative we're going to figure out.
Well,
I'm gonna speak
I'm
to
saying that
getting
you
your
have 2
information.
narratives to choose from.
Yeah, no,
Hold on a sec. Please let me
Let me
finish.
finish, because I'm telling
Okay,
you
so
what
this
I'm
doesn't have to
gonna
be a
do.
pissing contest.
It's
I'll
not a
speak
pissing
and then you can
contest.
speak and we'll have a
Yes, and
professional
I want you to go on
dialogue.
for a few minutes. I'm
Okay.
telling you, I want to speak
So-
to the officer to find out his side
That's
of the
fine,
story.
but which side should we believe at this point? Because if you go into a court of law and you give one story than another, people are going to think there's an issue with credibility. This officer gives one totally different narrative when he admits on camera on the live. I suggest you look at it. No, you didn't commit a violation. I'm doing this because I ticked you off. And then he gives a ticket where a warning where it says failure to yield. So which one do you listen to?
Well,
Because
no,
he's
this
already
is
given
both
2
sides, sir.
stories.
First of all, this is not a court of law, correct? So I'm going to do it the way we do. We listen to both sides of the stories, and if we go on, do we have to talk to you again or to you again, we will do that. Right now, let me look into it. And we'll go from there.
Okay, and can we file any criminal reports?
Telling me there was no criminal liability on the officer's part at all.
Well,
He
I
had
was-
the
I would
right
like to
stop
file
you
a-
because on the ticket, he said you failed to yield. And that's what we're going by with the ticket. Let me talk to them, and he doesn't come in until 4 o'clock. He's at night.
We'll be back.
Yeah, and then we'll go from there.
Can you tell me why or if it was wrong. Like, should they have come to assist us when we came here last night? To assist us last night?
Well, I mean, no one came out at all to assist you?
No, we came up, sir, it's on video. We came up to the, no, not once. We came up to the window and all I said was, and he was sitting on a chair right against that window.
Okay,
And I said,
who's he?
it was an officer. I don't have a name.
Okay.
I don't have a name. And I just said, all I need is a complaint form. Middle finger on camera.
Okay.
Then he walks across to an office that's adjacent where there's someone else in front of computer screens. Then they both wave. I come in here and you can hear them say, just let them sit out here all night. And they said, well, we will sit out here all night.
Obviously, we don't want police officers not assisting the public, regardless of what it is, okay? We will look into that as well, okay?
Okay.
You're telling me this happened at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, well, you know what? We can actually pull up.
Well, I'm not gonna look at any videos right
No,
now.
I'm going to pull up the
Okay?
exact
Okay.
timestamp.
Why don't you take a look at it then, I'll be right back.
Yeah, and I would like to fill out a report against the other officer the officer that was there for kidnapping because I wasn't legally detained.
Kidnapping?
Yes, I'd like to fill out a police report.
For kidnapping for what, sir? Can you tell me what the elements of kidnapping was?
If I'm detained,
Okay, sir, and I told you.
if I'm detained, does he have to articulate the reason I'm
Sir,
detained?
I told you, I'm telling you why he did it. When we pull people over, we don't let everyone just leave the car, okay, until this traffic stop is done. And then,
Well, I think
because
they had
it's
it
a
covered.
public safety
5
thing.
cruisers, 7 officers.
Say that again?
5 cruisers, 7 officers. I think they had it in
Well, there's
hand.
case law actually too, at Arizona v. Arizona v. Johnson.
Can I finish up?
Yep.
Please?
Oh.
Sir, you didn't tell me, you told me what, Johnson, you didn't tell me anything about other officers.
Well, that's the main officer that initiated the stop.
Okay.
There were 5 other cruisers, 7 officers in total,
Okay.
plus a paddy wagon that assisted in this almost
Okay,
infraction.
that's the first time I heard it. Let me take a look at it and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Arizona v. Johnson, I think, is the case law that will allow him to leave the car.
And we'll touch base with that, because here's the thing, guys. They will say officer safety, I shouldn't leave the car, but here's the thing. You saw it in Chattanooga. 7 cruisers, 10 officers, and they told me I couldn't get out of the car, and I got out of the car anyways. And then we owned them for about 45 minutes because they were in fact pieces of shit. Be careful, Officer Johnson. It's bad cops like that could get good cops like you guys hurt. He's all over YouTube. Hopefully, these guys they're this shift, so they won't be on the 4 o'clock shift, so they probably won't have to worry about getting hurt because of Officer Johnson. He's very reckless. So yeah, you can exit the car. They might ask that you not exit the car because of officer safety. You're not on camera. So they might be concerned for officer safety, right? That you don't leave the car. But Supreme Court rulings have already ruled that if you're not the driver, okay, if you're not the driver and you're the passenger in the vehicle and you choose to leave the car, you can leave the car. You absolutely can leave the car. Do not call C6 PD. Boston PD Division C6.
I gotta go pee.
You gotta go to the bathroom?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, man. Oh, wait, hold on. That can't be right. We're in a public place. Supreme Court has already ruled.